We're live!
Yay! We're live!
It's going to take a moment for actual people to come flowing in and for the synapses in PY's head to make everything all shared so everybody sees it. In the meantime, for everybody out in recorded land, welcome to another Q&A session here at Bucketlist Entertainment. I am Jason Greenberg. I'm a content creator here at Bucketlist ENT. I am joined by my very esteemed boss and best friend of the whole wide world. I'm pointing in the wrong direction because mirror effects. We're just going to introduce herself. I don't have the right.
I am Liz Curielli, the founder of Bucketlist Entertainment. Hello.
And we are joined for one last episode for this particular season by the amazing, the incomparable Damn Truth in their entirety, which is awesome. Can't believe we got all of you at the same time.
It almost didn't happen, but yay, we're here.
Good old health crises. I love it.
Thanks for having us.
Our absolute pleasure. More so Liz's pleasure. She put it all together. I'm just a puppet that comes in and does things. Thank you guys for showing up. We deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate it. For everybody that's already in the room, thank you for showing up. You're going to hear me say that 1,000 fucking times. How it goes, like usual, Liz and I have a couple of questions we're going to go through with these amazing musicians we have in front of us. And then once we're done, we're going to have a fun little Q&A section where you can ask all of the dirty things that you want to ask, and maybe the band will answer. In the meantime, though, if you ask a question while we're doing our stuff, it might get lost. So please don't do that and save them for the fucking end. Do still comment. We'll put them up on the screen. Just keep in mind that Liz and I usually share moderating duties. Tonight, we are doing that live. We will inevitably fuck up.
We'll be fine.
We're super professional. That's a joke, I think.
I like that I can curse. I like that we cleared that up. This is good.
Everybody else is cool with it. I don't got a problem with it.
Perfect.
I don't have my little ding.
I feel like I screwed up.
Ding.
My little dingling bells. Yeah, when PY and I were on Show'em at the morning show, and I had to repeat every single fuck that came out of his mouth. I brought with me like little bells and shakers and whistles, and by the end of like the 2-hour session when we were
drinking,
completely belligerent, drunk, I was just shaking those things every single time. That was too much.
We're all human. We just love to express ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In the theme of expressing ourselves, how are you guys doing? First of all, as a band, for once, how's everybody doing, and how are we surviving through the continuous fucking plague that we're surviving through somehow?
Yeah, it's a trip, man. I mean, some days are really, really awesome, and some days are really, really hard. We released the record, I don't know, it was about 6-7 weeks ago now, and it's been incredible, like the love and the fans and, the orders. It's all amazing. There's just one really big missing piece, which is getting on the road in the van and touring this music. So it's weird. It's definitely a new experience, I think, for all of us to release music like this without actually being on the road right away. It's really it's a new challenge, I guess.
I think, funny enough, this is probably the time to mention that. I think one of the funniest things in doing our homework for this interview was watching your documentary, and I can't remember what episode it was, but your son started off one of them with, "Would I release a record in 2021? No."
No way.
He snapped my water out right there. I was like, wow, your kid just burned the shit out of you. That's damn.
Well, I guess you kind of like, you got the vibe of what's happening at home, because not that I'm upset about it in any shape or form, but, we were kind of forced to do it. I mean, we were signed to a label. They're like, guys, come on, it's time. It's been like 6 years since our last record. You've been working on it forever, and it's time to do it. And we're all like, well, but pandemic and whatever. I'm kind of happy that we did it. It's a different experience. But it definitely, as a band, it opened new doors for us, and it put the focus on different things that we never really focused on. So overall, pretty good.
Well, you guys definitely are doing really well with it. What are you listening to these days? Like, aside from this, like, what are you listening to during the pandemic? What have been your most repeated albums?
Well,
Don't nobody race to the answer.
it's hard because I mean, there's so much all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of it has been like showing my favorites to Ben because we've been home so much together, and So I've just been like, I went through all of Joni Mitchell's discography, and especially now since Blue 50th just came out, and I'm a huge Joni Mitchell fan. And like they're just the other day, like they released like 4 or 5 demos as a brand new release, stuff that never came out. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. There's like different versions of songs, or like the first version that she recorded, and she's just like, you should check it out. It's like the purest of her voice from early, I don't know, like it's Blue. It's 67, 60, or maybe 71. Yeah,
that's why 20.
71. That's it. Sorry, yes, 50 years. So all of Joni Mitchell's discography has been going on like nonstop in our house. Yeah.
It's really eclectic for me. One song in particular I keep looping. I don't know, when I'm walking, it's just so uplifting in this sun. But it's "Dancing in the Moonlight" by King Harvest.
Oh,
so good, so good. The groove they got going there. Oh, I love it.
so good.
And how about you, Dave?
I guess I'm a bit of an oddball compared to these guys. I mean, in my car, I've got the same like three CDs basically on a loop, and one is the Beastie Boys, Ill Communication. The other one is Mer de Non from A Perfect Circle. And the other one, I forget the name of the band. It's Jack White's solo project. He's on the drums, and it's called somebody jumping.
He's on the drums?
Yeah, he's on the drums.
Say that again?
Jack White's one of his side projects where he's on the drum.
I think I read about that too.
I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
drawing a blank.
I don't know,
guys.
It'll come back to you, and apparently you'll never get to go on tour with Jack White.
I never pulled the CDs out of the thing. They're just like, it's like a loop,
Then somebody said Dead Weather.
Dead
Dead
Weather.
Weather, exactly.
I didn't know he plays drums.
He's on the drums, and they've got the gal from, I think it's The Kills on vocal.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I listened to that one a lot.
I read an article in Rolling Stone the other day, like maybe a month ago, about like the 20 best records of 2021 so far, and most of it was pop, but like Gojira was on the list, and I was like, I haven't listened to metal in a long time. I want to just like, I'm just gonna like put it in my earphones as I'm walking. I'm just gonna listen to a metal album from start to finish, and I gotta say, it's a really great record.
Right,
I listened to it,
it really is
for a while now, and it's like I haven't listened to metal in a long time, and I'm really falling in love with it. It's really great.
nice.
Well, we saw them at Heavy, right? 2 years back.
Yeah.
They were
so awesome.
I think they stole the festival.
They did. Every time I've seen them, they've been the best band. It's crazy.
There's a lot of good records coming out in 2021. It's like the year. I find 2020 understandably was a little quiet in that regard, but 2021 is booming. Good new music. So
our buddy Frisco Lee, a buddy from down in St. Henry, just released a really cool record. I've been kind of jumping and digging into that. It's got Tom Petty vibes, and I fucking love Tom Petty, and Frisco's really dope.
He's got a good voice.
Yeah, it's a great record. It's cool.
I haven't heard it yet, but I like his voice a lot.
It's nice.
amazing.
Well, we've all got homework now. And here we are thinking we don't have to review records anymore. We can just listen to what we want. Nope. Always going to be something else we got to listen to. Moving on to a little bit of a different topic before we actually dive into the nitty gritty of the record and everything like that. A lesser talked about topic that I was actually surprised of while going through your documentary was that you guys actually had to change jam spaces midway through pandemic. I know that because I was in the same jam space as you and it got shut down. And that was the second time that I've lost a jam space now. So I wanted to, find out how the Mighty Damn Truth had to handle their move. I'm assuming while you were also working on the record, and then at the same time, how are you guys feeling about this constant, and even if it's not constant in your opinion, this perpetual just desolation of creative spaces that we have here specifically in Montreal? Because I'm going bald as it is, and it's making me go insane.
No,
We definitely felt that, man, because we knew, what was it like, guys, 8 months before we had to move, they told us, and we were like balls deep in this record, everything was there, and we always knew we got to find a jam space, and it was this, like you said, this desolate fucking city in terms of jam spaces until, you know, the guy who owns the building, Fern, found a really cool building, and then Dave got all carpentry and built us a studio.
We were kind of lucky because we got to stay in the rehearsal space. I don't know at what point you got evicted, Jason, but I think we were like among the last.
We were the last.
Like I think we got, you know, and forgive me for saying, I think we got like an extra 3 months in the building.
Yeah.
We were going into the place and it was like there was not a soul except for us. So we did have.
We were recording and you could hear the construction crews breaking down walls.
But I mean, we got a new spot, we moved and we built, and now, you know, our jam space is cooler because I mean now it's a little more our home but we were sharing before, you know, and now it's our spot and we got our stuff laid out and it's comfy and it's kind of decorated and we're a bit more planted in, you know, like the last place we were kind of like always careful, other people's stuff is around, yada yada, and now we got our own turf, so it's kind of better, you know.
Higher ceilings. The drums sound badass in there.
Yeah.
I think though, touching on what you said just before about what's happening to the city, I think in Montreal, as an outsider's perspective, because I didn't grow up here or anything, it was always like a super friendly city to artists in general. You know, people from all over the world come to Montreal because it's cheap to live here, and you could get a nice place to live in and a good place to practice or rehearse at or want to get your art studio going for relatively cheap. You know. And it's kind of sad to see that's disappearing from view, you know. And it's like I know I produce bands like as a side gig sometimes, and sometimes I get to see like the younger bands, and you know, there's just no way that they can just like survive by just playing a few gigs a month and like, you know, focus 100% on the art, you know, and which is like for me and Lila, it was. You know,
it was a necessity.
It was a necessity, like in order to get us to where we are, like we had to dedicate our lives to that, like 100%. You know, what kept us alive was cheap rent, cheap rent on rehearsal spaces, cheap studio time, and a lot of great artists to collaborate with. And I think what I'm seeing here, the Toronto effect that's happening to Montreal is just so struggling to me. I hate it. Just I live in St. Henry, and just walking down the street and seeing the gentrification and. You know,
it's terrible.
And all the homeless, like it used to be that in St. Henry, there wasn't like a homeless.
It wasn't a scene because we were all very close to being homeless.
Yeah,
we were
poor,
all poor. There was, you know.
And now it's like they're on every corner, and sometimes like if I walk home late at night, like sometimes I don't feel like as safe as it was when it was like a poor neighborhood. You know? Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. We're definitely not being supported as much as we used to be. I can agree with you on that, and I think we can all agree a big rest in peace to 1180. That was, you know, a teardown none of us will soon forget. But of course, you know, it's good that the Habs have a place that they can go and get laid after their games now. I was baffled. They literally built a fucking bridge from the stadium into the new place. I was just like, come on!
I haven't even seen it. I haven't been there in years. Wow,
yeah, they built a whole condo building for the hockey team.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
After party at the condo building.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm still mad, and that's why I should stop talking about this, or else I'm going to say things that are going to get me banned from places. Moving on.
Join the club.
What was that?
Join the club.
You know, you're already banned from places. You won't wear clothes. We're going to circle back to that. I promise you. In the meantime, another thing that I was almost surprised to see a little bit of an absence of in the documentary is talking about gear. You guys have such a unique sound. And obviously, we're not going to get into the little nitty gritties or anything like that. But I am very curious. You have a lot of very retro and vintage gear that you use in order to create such a big and you know, don't mind me saying, a vintage sound. Who breaks the most gear and who spends the most on their gear out of the fucking band?
Ooh, well, PY breaks everything he touches. Everything.
We call him the Amp Slayer.
He's the Amp Slayer. Yeah.
Why am I not surprised?
But Dave's pedals break sometimes. Dave's bass drum pedals. Remember that time he jimmied it back together with a paper clip and some duct tape?
Yeah.
It's not like when we went to record in Vancouver and you broke 3 bass amps. 3.
PY takes the cake for most broken equipment. I definitely break a lot of stuff because I mean it's like I hit everything I own. I hit, but I mean I tend to be pretty lucky with my gear. My gear seems to last a long time. Like I don't really go through that much sticks. You know, I don't really break sticks too much and cymbals and stuff. But I guess Tom's got the big gear collection. I mean, he's got a dozen guitars that we got to pack in the van every fucking goddamn night after a show. So,
Jerry.
I'm just fortunate, you know, like when we did Devilish Folk back in 2016, I only really had one guitar, you know, one guitar, one amp. We made those 2 records before. Just with those, me anyway, just with those 2 instruments, like one guitar and one amp. And what happened with that record is just that, you know, I started kind of experimenting with different tones and different sounds. And I was just lucky enough to be approached by so many amazing brands and companies and boutique builders that just, you know, wanted me to use their stuff. And together we came in, we came into creating some amazing instruments. I didn't have anything to do with it. I just kind of like said what I liked. And yeah, I'm going to give a big shout out to definitely Jeff Demers, probably the best luthier in Canada, if not the world. Bunting Guitars are just, you know, they're my friends and they do amazing work. And Retro King Amps. I met that guy while we were on tour with ZZ Top. He built a bunch of amps for Billy Gibbons. And one night after the show, he asked, hey, do you want me to build you an amp? And I wasn't going to say no. So turns out he builds really, really good amps. And I'm just a lucky guy.
Tom's not allowed to use any other amps, says the band. That amp is like a gem.
I mean, it's always heartening to hear that it's a democracy amongst the band. That's for sure.
As long as we all do what Dave says.
Yeah.
Or as long as he doesn't find out.
Now you sound like me. And I'll take the prize for largest volume of equipment.
Yes, definitely.
Supersized drums, lots of drums, big, and like at least 1/3 of the van, if not, you know, 2/3 of the van goes to drums. So
yeah, you're a drummer.
I'll take my claim to gear in that way.
I mean, with both your studios, Tom and Dave, you guys have a shit ton of gear. Like you guys can make Guitar Center run for their money.
Yeah, could be.
I don't have that.
An honorable mention to Ben for the largest stick collection.
Yes.
That's true.
It's amazing. So tell us about your experience making Now or Nora. Like, how has that whole experience been with Bob Rock? Just like from A to Z. Like, tell us how it went.
So I'll start.
All right.
We're in the van in Europe. We're on tour, and we started thinking about making a record. You know, it was time. We've been on the road for like 4 years, and we had a bunch of songs. And we kind of came to the conclusion that we would want to work with a producer that's like way, you know, out of our league kind of thing. And we just kind of started talking about it. And a couple of names that came up in the van were George Martin, obviously from the Beatles, because we're all huge Beatles fans. But obviously that couldn't happen because he's not with us anymore. But the second name right off the bat was Bob Rock, because, you know, when I was a kid, I only knew about 2 producers. It was George Martin and Bob Rock. So his name came up. And it was still like it wasn't really real. Like, oh, Bob Rock, yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I don't know when the decision was made to actually like try to contact him.
I think it was on the spot. We just said, all right.
Yeah, well, we knew Ralph kind of had it in.
Well, that's it. We realized when we got back to Montreal, we realized that that Ralph, who at that time was a close friend to the band, kind of like did. You know, he wasn't our manager yet. He's our manager now. But at the time, he still owns Band Gallery, which is right next door to our place, an awesome vintage record store, an art gallery, and we met him like just because he moved. It was the coolest thing that moved into our neighborhood years ago, and we met that way. And I remembered, like, I think on me or you, we remember in the back of our minds that he once managed Bob Rock's band, the Payolas. So it was like, oh, well, do you still have it in? And he was like, well, yeah, I can send an email. I can send some music. But he told us, but it's got to be your best stuff. Like, I'm not sending just any crap to.
You gotta have the songs.
Right.
So we had to, we worked our asses and we demoed and demoed and demoed, and then we were finally like, here, these songs are great. And he was still reluctant.
I was like, listen, Ralph, let's go. It's like, just send them in. And if he says no, we'll move on. But we just
at least try. Yeah.
So he sent the songs in. I think it was less than 12 hours that he reached back and he was like, yeah, okay, let's make a record. We can continue to.
Fast forward, I guess, a couple of weeks or months. I mean, from the moment that he said he liked the songs and he wanted to work with us, the next step was going to be to get this guy on the phone. So that whole weight of just kind of okay, this man, the elusive Bob Rock, once we got on the phone with him, that's when things really started to kind of become more real. It's like, this is happening. It's not just a thought or an idea, So we booked a call. Got on the phone with the guy, and from the third word that came out of his mouth, it was very, very, very obvious that this guy was going to be very, very committed and excited, to work with us. And I mean, the feeling is obviously mutual, because I mean, all of us were we were nervous for the phone call, let alone driving across the country to play for this guy and make a record. But the first phone call was it was awesome. His vibe was amazing. He was already tuned into the songs. He was already tuned into us and the band and kind of the sound and where we wanted to go with the music and how we wanted to record. It's he really pulled the thoughts out of our minds and said them back to us. It was all very, very, very destined in a sense. It was very, 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 very cool to hear his voice and then hear, him say that he wanted to produce a great classic rock record and he wanted us to play live and he had great ideas for the tones. He was referencing Zeppelin. He was referencing all these great records. Kind of we're okay, because he's known for kind of a polished and produced rock sound. And I think he brought some polish and production to us. But I mean, what he was thinking and what he was trying to draw out of us was that element of performance and that element of spontaneity and that element of just great energy in the music, So that part of it was awesome, and then the time came to load up the van and drive to Vancouver to work with him because he lives in Hawaii.
Okay.
When he works in Canada, he works in Vancouver. He works at Bryan Adams' studio, and we were trying to get him to come to Montreal, and we dangled hotels and free meals, and he's like, I work in Vancouver. I work at the best studio in the world. It's called the Warehouse Studio, and it's owned by Bryan Adams, and that's where we're going to work. So we had no choice in the matter, pretty much, And I'm glad that we kind of not that we had a choice, we didn't have a choice, but the experience was unbelievable because the studio is otherworldly. It's enormous rooms, crazy sound, and you walk in and you just. There's already just a feeling that comes over you, and he kind of warned us. He was like, you'll see once you get to the studio, the magic will be there waiting for you. And it didn't disappoint. That's for sure.
Just talking about sorry to cut you off there, but just touching on that is that now that we all have the ability to record albums, everybody basically in their bedrooms, I think we lost something that was very important to rock and roll, which is that do or die element, where you get your days in the studio and you have to perform and it has to be perfect and it's now, and that's the way we kind of felt when we stepped in, and we were prepared. We rehearsed for that thing 9 to 5 for 4 months. Those 9 songs that are on the record,
6 days a week.
6 days a week for months and months. And when you step in there, it's like the Olympics. It's right now you do it, or you don't. It's and that element, I think that it really brought something out of us that we couldn't have done in Montreal by ourselves.
That's such a beautiful story.
I remember getting there at the studio. We're like, is this the right address? Is this the right address? And then we have to drive down this alleyway. Shoes are hanging from the fucking telephone poles. There's people walking around with broken bottles yelling at shadows. It was terrifying. And then Dave just goes up to this big fucking metal door and Cheech and Chong style, bang, bang, bang. And the guy goes, hola, in Spanish. And then Dave's like, it's the damn truth. And then the door just and we drove in. It was so crazy. It was beautiful.
Wow.
And what did he say to you, BY, in the first
Yeah, well, we got in, we parked the van, and then everybody's kind of like grabbing stuff, and like the assistants are there, like put this shit here, put this shit here. Tom, I don't know, you walked off down one hallway, I walked off down another, and I ended up in a room with Bob Rock by himself. I opened the door and I'm like, oh, shit. And he was doing fucking Richie Sambura's new record. And I walk in, he doesn't say anything. He turns around, doesn't say hi or anything. He just kind of looks me up and down and says, listen to this. Smashes on the space bar, and he listens to his music at like, the knob is broken off, full volume, his hair just like, psh.
Wow.
I jumped out of my skin. And then he finished, he goes right, he plays a full verse into a chorus, like doesn't even stop. Then after the chorus, he goes, what do you think? I said, that's fat as fuck. He said, you know, you're going to be a lot fatter than this. And then I was like, holy shit. And then everybody walked in. Like, it was like a fucking shot from a movie. And we had a film crew, and we didn't even catch that shit.
Oh, that's insane.
Please tell me you were clothed at least when that happened. Like,
yeah, sort of. I think I was in my big blue sweater era because it was kind of chilly. And I was wearing a giant blue sweater, leather pants, and cowboy boots.
I mean, we're also like, the scenario is that we drove straight from Montreal to Vancouver. We haven't stopped. I mean, like, we were Dave, PY, myself, and Joseph, which was a camera guy, that came with us to document the thing. And we basically took turns driving. So we're like, we're just going straight, you know? So we're like, after, you know, like we're 4 guys after 4 days in the van straight. So that's how we met Bob Rock for the first time. You know?
Covered in piss.
Yeah, basically.
no breaks.
You nailed it, BY.
Yeah. But he said we smelled better than Metallica, so that's good.
Oh, there you go.
The
There
funny
you go.
part
It is a
about
low bar, though.
thanks, BY.
What is Bob Rock's favorite song on the record? Has he expressed that to you?
I feel like it's Lonely because he really caught on to that song like from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was definitely like, that was the song that like, I think got us to work with him. He listened to it. And the way we had that song down it was just an a cappella song. There was like a little bit of a drum beat to it, but Leah was basically singing it by herself. And he just like, when he heard it, he heard the whole band playing it. And I think that song really spoke to him. But I remember a different moment when we recorded This Is Who We Are Now. You had to step out for like a couple, like an hour or two. Exactly when I was doing the guitar solo. And anyway, we got the guitar solo done. And he came back, and the assistant Adam was like, "Just sit here and just listen to what we're doing." Just like what PY said, he listens super loud. So he sits on the console, turns it like to 11, listens super loud from the soul to the end of the song. Then the song finished, and he just kind of turns around to us. We're all in the back there, like nervous. What is he gonna say? And he turns around and says, "You guys are my favorite band." And I started crying. And,
I poured another whiskey.
What a surprise.
Wow.
He was really, really, really awesome to work with, and like free of ego, and just he worked super hard, and he was there for us. Since we got back from the sessions and we started to talk about the fact that we worked with Bob Rock, so many people have sent me the video links to like Some Kind of Monster and A Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica. And I don't know if you guys have like watched these films, but it's like he works with Metallica and he just like he kills the band. It's like he's so harsh, he's so hard, and he's so like strong, and he's like talking down to Metallica in order to get them, I guess, to just like buckle down and focus on the music. So people were just like, "What's he like that? Did he tell you like all this shit?" Like there's this video of him coaching Kirk Hammett through a guitar solo, and it's just like you watch the scenario unfold, and you're like, "Holy fuck, this is so harsh."
Cringe.
Like it's so harsh. And he was just like the complete opposite with us. I don't know, maybe we had a great attitude or something, or he just loved the music. But I mean, it was awesome, fun. He was there, like, just kicking ass for us. It was awesome.
That's insane. What a story. You guys must have been like, oh my God.
Only for the first 5 seconds. After that, he like his aura, his energy just like pulls you in, and you get into this bubble, this mood, and then like you're making a record, and it's cool. The nervousness kind of goes away, and you trust everybody, and it's just The nerves were only for like 5 minutes, and then it was gone.
You're in great hands.
He very quickly started talking to us about like his favorite desserts, you know, and it just
What are his favorite desserts? Let's share this.
Nanaimo bars.
Oh, I mean, God, those
Why
are
is that
His mother had the best recipe.
So, you know, he very quickly became kind of like human, and I mean, we just focused on the music, and it was an awesome experience.
so cool.
That is really, honestly, so awesome. I don't think I would have ever left the shower. I just would have been in a shower crying for the rest of my life. I can't tour the record. I'm not over it yet. That's also because I'm a pathetic human being. Moving on from that, what was the song off of the record that you guys felt like you really had to put the most amount of work into? Like, what was the tune that almost broke you, if any of that?
I would probably point to two songs that there's similar things happened with them, but I mean, I don't know if they broke us, but I mean, there was two songs that in my memory, they're like, we worked on them a lot and tried to put, not that we tried to put, we put so much into it, and it was just like a classic case of, it's like when you make a pizza, it's like tomato, cheese.
You had to make the pizza reference.
You know?
I
I think it was two songs that it's like we kept going at it and going at it and going at it and going at it. You know, one of them was Full on You, and the other one was Shot 'Em. You know,
But those were not done with Bob Rock. Those Full on You was, but not Shot 'Em.
No.
Okay.
But I mean, I think Full on You was the one that had like a full 4-minute like middle section. It was like there was two other songs inserted in the middle of the song.
And then we ended up going back to what we had in the very get-go when we started playing for the chorus and everything. We're like, okay, well, this feels comfortable. For me, anyway. This is the very first thing I ever played on that chorus. We ended up circling back.
Yeah. You know, and then there was just some other moments where it's like we were, you know, it took like just very simple adjustments to just kind of like transform the songs and turn them into just something great. Like Only Love was one of those songs where we had like our demos done and it sounded pretty cool, you know, and then we did like a fast version where we sped it up because we were like, okay, maybe this is a bit too kind of like, you know, down tempo. But when we got to Vancouver was like the fast version that we did is like, you know, it's still far too slow. It's like Bob like turned it up like 15 or 20 BPM. It was like a mind-blowing moment, and that was another moment where like the music really took a bit of a left turn, you know.
For me, I have to say, like working on The Fire, when we first worked on that, like as demos at home, I don't know, like we were in a certain place. We were like trying to, you know, do something a little bit different, sort of outside of the box. And I remember recording those demos and like listening back even that same night and saying, I will never be able to sing like that again. Like, I don't know what it was, but there was some kind of magic in the room when we recorded it that first time. And I was like, I don't think I can ever do that again. And it terrified me. And it kind of haunted me for months. I was like, I don't want to touch that song. Let's not do it. Just leave it alone, you know? And it was like, I actually had this barrier that I will not be able to ever sing that song again. It was very high. It was very out of my range. It was very like, it was just, I don't know. It was like, and also I really, really love the demo. So it's when you fall in love with like a demo, it's very hard to like, you know, hear it back in any other way. So I think that song really, really haunted me. It took us a long time, and it ended up being like the last one I think that was included finally. And maybe that was kind of because of my whole attitude towards it, because it was like, I won't be able to ever play this song live or ever do it again. And yeah, it's really my scariest song of the set. Like, will my voice break trying to sing this is kind of what I feel.
Oh no.
When we worked on Lonely, when we presented Lonely to Bob, as Tom mentioned earlier, was like, we had always performed it. We had already been performing it for years. I was almost like a chain gang type chant. You know, Lila would sing and I would just kind of like steady beat. And we had played it already hundreds of times like that. And it was very, very hard to envision like a different way to deliver the song. But Bob was like, this is great, but it's like, turn this into a song, you know? So come to Vancouver ready with a song. So I think we spent like 10 days, you know, working on turning Lonely into a song so that we could have something to present to Bob. And like, when we got to Vancouver, it's like, we dumped it on the table. Like when you do your like secondary 2 science project, and you're like, I don't know, please give me a D here or something. I mean, we actually worked at it really, really, really hard, but that was frustrating. And in the end, all we needed to do was like sit in the studio with Bob for like 5 minutes, and
it was so quick.
The inspiration came in that moment. Yeah.
Yeah. You're in good hands.
He made Dave finger drum for the demo, and Dave was mad at him right away.
Not quite, but I don't really finger drum.
Remember, they pull out the pad, and you're like,
well, you know, it was my first moment performing for Bob Rock, and he threw like this little like digital pad at me, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm not prepared for this. I have to drum on a keyboard, for fuck's sake, you know?
Write some drums.
There was something that you guys mentioned on your socials, speaking about the video. This is who we are now. You mentioned that you all got injured making the video. You don't really talk about it in your documentaries, in your little mini series. So, what happens? Like, who got injured? What happened during the making of that video?
Who wants to start? All right, I'll start. Yeah, everybody got injured. So what happened for me was that like between every room there's like a set change. It's all the same revolving room, but they kept changing the sets, and we had basically 2 days, so it was very intense. It was like 2 15-hour days. So it was just like go, and I think it was between the second and the third set change where they had to like completely put down a whole like carpet and like nail it down, and like they turned the room into suddenly our beautiful like rehearsal space room with the green walls and all that. And then go on in there and let's start revolving and performing in this room. And at some point I fell flat, like on my hands, like I just like completely, vertically just went down. And I remember saying, like feeling in my head, ow, 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 something's wrong. But I didn't want to look, and I didn't want to see it. I just kept going. I went to take it. I could feel the blood dripping. It was pretty awful, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep going. And then when we're done the take, I'm like looking, and I've got like this nail like stuck, like I smashed a nail into my right here. I've got the scar. I got the scar for it. It's awesome. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Bloody. That was mine.
Oh Christ compels you.
For me, it was because the room kind of rotates all the time.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to time your steps, so you kind of step on the ceiling or the
walls,
the adjusted wall at the right time. And if you miss that cue, you're gonna crash. So it's still a music video, and you want to perform like like you're playing rock and roll. So I'm like really into it, and I missed like the cue, and the room is, and all of a sudden like I open my eyes, I don't remember what, but I see PY and Leela against the other wall, and I'm like, I'm coming, and I was just like, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm coming, and with the guitar,
like a sack of potatoes.
I think I cracked the rib on that one because the flying V just like
smashed into
me, and I smashed into them, and that was a good moment.
Yeah, lots of Jack Daniels after that.
I was jostled on that one.
And what happened with you, PY?
That there was one moment too where it was me and Tom in the room, and like for some reason for the first few takes we had our guitars plugged in, because we wanted to be real, and we're spinning and all the wires are tangling around. At one point there's one around my neck and we're spinning, and I'm like, oh God, get this off, as I'm trying to perform, and luckily that didn't end as an injury, but it was terrifying.
No, but I think for you, PY, it's the moment that you were in the white room.
The white room, yeah.
That was the one, man. I mean,
died.
Oh my God. The thing is, PY goes all at it. So he doesn't even remember what's going on. But I just remember him coming off the set, and I was like, can I look at your body a second? And he was blue. It was like every single spot on his back was blue, turning purple, and this was immediate. Usually you get the purple a couple days.
It was fucked up.
He was already purple. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think
I still have scars.
Yeah.
I think it's important for everybody, for me and Leela, PY, to just step aside a second and acknowledge Dave was strapped into his drum set
Upside down.
upside down. So like,
For
I love
I
Joey Jordison over here.
minutes.
with all due respect to PY's blueness, I mean, this guy had to play drums
Upside
strapped.
down.
I didn't get as injured as these guys. That's for sure. And PY, I've got a photo of PY's back, and his back is just like you would think that he just got like lashed over and over and over again. His back is red, blue. It's mashed up. I mean, I got off easy, compared to these guys, but I was the one who was actually like strapped to the set. So while these guys were free, getting like kind of like bounced around the box, I was tied to the floor, tied to the walls. I had this belt on me, this kind of like harness, super tight. So I
Across the thighs, right?
Across the thighs and around the waist. I ended up with all this like bruising on my waist and stuff. But I mean, it's only because like I had to be tied down so tight. So they got this like Cirque du Soleil, I guess trapeze guy, or like he's like a harness guy. He was there to ensure that I would be able to survive the video shoot. Basically, while the box is turning, I'm turning with it. So the box is on its side, I'm on my side. My drum set goes upside down on the ceiling, I'm upside down on the ceiling. So it was very hard, even though I was tied into it, just to be kind of like maintaining posture and playing while I'm sideways and upside down. And it was like, it's challenging because it's like, while the blood like rushes to your head and then rushes out, and like the endurance of just needing to do it while the box is like spinning and like trying to perform. And it was hard, there was like, some emotional moments where I was like, I don't even know if I could fucking do this 20 times. Like, how are we gonna do this? I have to do this all day. Like,
dude, I thought your heart was gonna explode because the fucking Cirque du Soleil guy, as he was like lashing the harness onto my legs, he's like, yeah, usually we do like a 3-week training for these kind of harness things because you can kind of like dislocate stuff or whatever. And I told him, well, we've brought Jack Daniels and Tim Hortons coffee. I hope that replaces fucking 3 weeks of training. And then right after that is when we first got into the box, and everybody had a starting position. And Dave's starting position was fully upside down, and he was one of the first ones to get strapped in. So he had to wait on a ceiling, feet on a wall, feet to the ceiling, head to the floor, strapped on, while we're all slowly like, oh, my harness is loose. Oh, please, my shoelace. Oh, can I have another drink? And he's there turning red like a tomato. And then he's like, I got to get down. And then I could see the fear in your eyes. I got so scared in that moment, I thought you were going to die. You were like shaking like a snowflake.
The first thing was pretty frightening. All I could know was like the whole day. I have to stay like this the whole day.
Yeah.
15 hours. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was terrifying when I saw that.
But we got a really cool video.
The video is awesome, so it was worth it, I think. But
Totally. You guys probably checked it out, but I mean, anybody who's watching, it's like you could go on our YouTube channel and you could watch the music video for This Is Who We Are Now, and you can also watch the making of video for This Is Who We Are Now, which kind of like shows the set and how the mechanics of it works and the idea and the concept behind it is just like, if we rewind 6 months and you tell me we're gonna be like inside a revolving box strapped to the ceiling, it's like, I'll tell you, you're fucking crazy, bro. But, we that happened to us and it was awesome. So check it out. It's on our YouTube.
Go ahead. If anybody was saying something, please by all means.
no, I think we're good. But,
no, absolutely. The video is fantastic. The documentary is fantastic. But of course, only here at Bucketlist Entertainment will we hear about how PY got beat with a belt before he got into a box. I know what actually happened. Don't lie to me. I do got to mention one particular thing that I thought was mind-boggling about the documentary and about watching the whole process of like we're writing it to we're recording it with Bob Rock in Vancouver to we're back and we're making this music video and we're working on the artwork and waiting on the next episode still. And this is by zero means a dig, but I saw at least 17 different hairdos between the four of you throughout that entire process. And it's not like any of this was outside of COVID. 1, I'm impressed. 2, how the fuck?
My hair has stayed the same.
No way. I visited my friend. She's an incredible hairdresser because I couldn't see anymore. So
I know that feeling.
And eventually they need, like right now it's getting there too.
But they were open then. Like the shop was open.
Yeah. But that's about it, man. I mean,
I missed the window, and now I'm
think these
stuck.
guys did anything. It was just me. It's great.
You can ask my girlfriend about it. Even during the first quarantine, like when like the thing really started, it's like I woke up every morning, I got dressed, I put on my shirt, I put on jewelry. It's like, even though we were just staying home, it's like I got ready for life, even then. So it's like,
live this lifestyle.
Still doing that.
I didn't want to fall into the depressions of COVID too much, even though there was some like definite depressive moments. But I mean, I think everybody kind of like, everybody's got good style here. I'm the one probably who has the worst style, but it's like these guys have good
You
style.
have your thing. You have your thing going on. You don't have a cool style. It's you.
I mean, look at PY. He's dressed.
If anybody's
It's very hard to put these on.
I remember when we were doing sorry to bring it up, just because you're naked again, dude. I remember when we were doing the what was it? The driving show last summer, middle of COVID. We're going to be the only band in Montreal that's going to play a show last summer. And, what an honor or whatever. We have to record like a 20 to 30 seconds thing for like CTV, something serious. And I'm like, PY, we can't be inside anywhere. So like, meet us like on the water, on the canal. We're just going to shoot something really nice. Like we all show up, like dressed up, like, like the damn truth, whatever. This
Ready
guy
for work.
shows up with like shorts and no shirt, on his bicycle, sweating like a fucking pig. I'm trying to do this thing, like Dave is practically wearing a suit, He's like done, makeup, hair, whatever. And this guy looks like he just crawled out of like the swamp, We can do the video, asking what to do it another day.
Yeah, we didn't use that video. We did like 3 takes, Tom and I side by side, but it just didn't make sense. Tom all dressed, and I'm like a dumpster fire.
I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, oh, I thought we were just shooting a video. Yeah, we're just shooting a video, man.
God.
I didn't know it was a fancy video.
Oh.
What video do you do that isn't fancy?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Well, speaking of now that PY is on the subject here, I have a question for you, PY. So
Okay.
you being known as the bad boy in the band.
Oh my god.
So tell us one of your most wildest, most embarrassing moments while on tour, and no sugarcoating here. I want to we
No
want to hear about-
sugarcoating. Jeez, what's an embarrassing story?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm blanking out. There are so many. What's a good one that's PG enough for this, guys?
We
Or
don't
you
have
can
to-
go dirty. It doesn't matter. I'll just put it
Okay.
like number or something in YouTube.
Okay, I've got a crazy story, but it's not embarrassing. It's just wild.
Okay.
We were playing this gig in Calabogie Peaks, this like ski resort with a bunch of bands, and the Glorious Sons were there. And we're friends of theirs. So after the show, we go to the Glorious Sons dressing room, and just the party has started. It's like people aren't drinking beer; they're drinking like everybody's got a bottle of gin or something for some reason. At one point, I saw Dave with 2 like of those blue bottles, Blue Sapphire or whatever. So the night was good, and it was a hot night, and a lot of people there. A lot of like kind of one of those festivals where people camp on like one part of the ground, and then there's like a sectioned off zone or whatever. But then at night, people crisscross and do the dirty bad stuff. And at one point, it's me and one of the Glorious Sons, like tour manager, guitar guys. We're in a car. I suspect his, and we were having a smoke or whatever, chatting. And then we get out and we see this thing in the distance, because it was a weirdly lit moment that night. It was kind of like early but late. The light was weird. And there's this guy kind of like boom, 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 walking toward us like horror movie style, wearing this like super weirdly pinkish T-shirt. And when he gets closer, we realize that's not a pinkish T-shirt. That guy's covered in blood. And it was terrifying. This guy was like 7 feet tall, and his face was just a ghost. And he's like, you have to help me. Now, at this point, we were just like beyond being able to fucking even give like spiritual advice. We were gone. But I don't know, when I'm at that, like in that mode, my brain just goes like, okay, we have to act. This guy's bleeding out for real. He's like, yeah, I was by the pool and I fell with bottles and like it sliced open his hand. I could see the bone. It was so deep, the cut. I was like, that's not like you got stabbed, bro. And he's like kind of panicking or whatever. And I knew right away what I had to do. And I would never do this like right now, but the adrenaline kicked in and I was just so focused. I fucking smacked him. Bang! You know, and he's 7 feet tall. So I was like, he can take it. And he just fucking zoom, eye to eye, both of us. And I was like, listen, bud, listen to what we're going to do. We're going to help you. Come with me. And he's like, okay. So me and the guy, we take him to the, like the sound people and the techs had their own condo. And they were having kind of their own little quiet professional people party, you know? And then I bust in with this guy covered in blood. I was like, I need duct tape. I need alcohol. A med kit if you got it right now. And then there was 2 medics coming and they were all fucking panicky and I could tell they were not going to take care of the situation. So I straight up told them to fuck off. Like I told the medics, fuck off and get me what I just asked for. This guy's bleeding out. And they did it somehow. So then I bring him outside because everybody's panicking and it's making him panic. I hit him again. I'm like, listen, don't worry, we got this. Pour some alcohol on that. I wipe it down, duct tape him with fucking rags, like clean rags. And then he was just like shaking, kind of going into shock again. I was like, you got to do one more. I grabbed him by like the hair like this. I pulled him closer. I was like, you got to do one more thing for me, bud. And he's like, all weakly, like, what? And I was like, drink. So he took a shot of Jack. And then it's like miracle. He was like, you can see the anxiety. And he was like, oh my God, I'm okay. Then he snapped right out of it. He's like, thank you so much. Can you drive me home? And I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. We did everything we can for you. Nobody here is driving. Leave.
Oh my goodness. That is insane.
It is a true story, yeah.
Not a word is a lie. In fact, when you guys like came into the house, it was like the record stopped, you know?
Yeah. Dead silence.
Holy shit. That is crazy.
Brent gave me a kiss from Gloria's Sons. He was like, good job. Mwah.
I mean, you were like,
you wanted to find the one bloody zombie in the entire campground.
Seriously, that's what it's
I swear, in the distance, he looked like so horrifically like just like a pink t-shirt, but like walking all so weird. And we didn't even know it was blood at that point, and it was freaky. When you could see that it was blood, it was like, oh my God, this guy's dying.
Oh my God. And you played hero. You helped him. That's like you're surviving.
Thank God for the booze. Because I'm squeamish. I'm squeamish with blood. I don't like blood at all. But thank God I was in some sort of mode, like adrenaline kicked in, and it was like, I could tell those medics, they were just like, you know, they were just not expecting this to happen, you know, like the worst case scenario, someone's bleeding out. They're partying, you know, they had a beer.
What happened to him exactly? Like, I missed that part.
Like snuck into like the artist section of the place, and there's a pool there. And I guess he was like doing something with a bottle, and he fell, hit like the hard surface beside the pool, and the glass shattered, and his hand went down on like thick glass, and it cut like all around here. It was fucked. His whole hand. It looked like somebody fucking gashed him.
That would freak me out. I don't like glass or anything like that.
No, me neither. When I think about it, I go, so like, thank God I was fucking drunk.
God.
But your instinct was to slap the 7-foot zombie in front of you.
Yeah, I had to slap him, man. He was going to black out. He was like, I could feel, I could sense that he was in full panic attack, you know? 7 feet tall guy that's like, his shoulders across is longer than me, you know? And he's got like, his face is like pale. I thought he was going to, I can't carry this guy. I got to fucking keep him awake.
Oh my God. That's insane.
You saved the day.
Thanks for sharing. That's a good story.
Problem. I'm glad it wasn't an embarrassing one that came out.
Yeah, I want embarrassing, but it's okay. You can tell me off camera.
I don't remember them. You know, later we're gonna be at the bar in a couple weeks, and I'll be like, you know what's a good story I should have told? This.
Yeah, probably. So I have a fun little game for us to play. where it's time to embarrass you guys a little bit. So basically, what I'm going to ask is I'm just going to throw some questions at you, and you have to just sing out a name of one of you guys that goes with this question. So I'm just going to say, like, blah, 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 and you're just going to sing out the answer at the same time to see if you're all on the same page in agreement with this person matching this question, if that makes
Wait,
any
can you
sense.
explain that like I'm 5 again? Just 1 second. I want to be clear.
Okay, so we'll start with the first question, just as an example. Okay. So I'm going to ask the question, and then you're all going to, like, sing out the name of the person in the band that goes with this question. So, like,
cool. It's like a wedding game.
Yeah, it's like a wedding game. See if you all match, if you're all in the same, like wavelength here with all of this. And you have to sing the answer. So there's just a couple that I'm gonna say out, and then you'll go. Okay, does that make, are we good?
Try.
Okay, so who wears it best?
Leela! Nice singing, Tom.
You're all supposed to say it at the same time. Okay. Dave is like,
do a countdown on the singing.
I was still trying to like wait to see how the game is played.
Well, there you go. That's how it goes.
Well, how I did it is exactly what you should do, except harmonize.
Exactly.
I got it. Okay, next question. Who's the biggest pain in the ass?
Tom.
Who would die first in a zombie apocalypse?
PY.
No way, Dave.
Obviously.
I mean, PY seems to be a good survivor with the whole zombie thing. So
I might try to befriend one though and get killed.
That's
You might be right.
I think it's going to be me, actually. You know, I just want to say that if it was a zombie apocalypse, I don't want to see it through. I want to be one of the first ones to go. We're going to live through that.
Right.
Tom's got a little rice and bean in one of his molars in case of zombie apocalypse.
Oh, wow. Who is the peacemaker?
Dave.
Leela.
Ooh.
Oh.
Or Dave.
PY is like the guy who's just like everybody is like magnetized. I feel like you'd be the one to.
I sit on the fence a lot though.
Interesting.
And last one. Who can drink the most?
PY.
Who knows now? We don't know anymore.
No.
We'll have to see.
Obviously, the fisherman.
Yeah, maybe. PY. I
don't even know about that. It might be Tom.
It might be Tom now, I think.
Tom!
No, not
Tom. Together, though.
Tom and Leela together. That counts.
Yeah.
Definitely me, that's for sure.
All together, we can drink like a school of mackerel.
Drink a lot.
Nice.
Let's talk about that bar tab that time.
Oh my god. Nope.
We thought the drinks
We
were
are
free.
forgetting that one.
Tune into our next interview with The Damn Truth when we actually find out who can drink the most.
Yes.
According to one person.
No. Don't lie. It might be true. We'll find out on this next episode. Also, watch you guys never come back to another Bucketlist interview for this foreshadowing.
Well, I'm in. I'm down. Tell me when. Let's go.
Of course you are.
Before we ask this last question, first of all, for everybody watching, if you have questions, start typing them out because now we'll actually start taking them in and we'll throw them on the screen and I'll read them out and I think Liz is going to put them up and that's going to be awesome and cool shit. Second of all, I still don't think PY survives in a zombie apocalypse because the first thing he's going to do is slap one in the face. Moving on from that, we have come to the tail end of our section of the questions. And of course, no bucket list interview is ever complete without the cheesiest question known to man. We've asked you so many times and we're going to ask you so many more. What's still left on your bucket list?
Interview with no clothes, check.
I want to tour all the places I haven't been to yet. Everywhere. Let's start with Australia.
Yeah.
Love
I'd
it.
love to make a record at Abbey Road with it.
Oh,
Ooh.
yes.
That's a good
I'd like to play at Madison Square Garden to a full house.
Mm.
Yes.
Dave?
Been coming.
I don't really know.
Really?
Yeah,
You're content. There's
thing,
nothing you want to do.
Did we miss any good pit barbecue places in the tour in the States?
all of them.
Yeah, that's also on my bucket list. That's like number 2 after Madison Square.
I honestly don't know. Bucket list. It's like, but my bucket list is more like things that I'm like afraid to do. That one day maybe I'll have like the courage to like skydive or like bungee or like something crazy like that. You know,
You're not
I will go
dragging me
skydiving.
into that.
we're gonna go to Australia. I don't even know if it's a bucket list thing. It's like it's more like a when than a like.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
That's
Me.
good. I like that. Yeah.
Cockiest in the band. Dave!
I mean, it's like, you know, Australia is just there. It's like you know, we just gotta hop on a plane. We'll be there.
There
It's
you
just
go.
the other side of the world.
Well,
Long trip. Long
that's one way
trip.
to look at it.
We
Yeah.
like long trips.
Yeah.
All right. So again, your cooperation has been outstanding. We're going to start getting into some crowd questions, and then we'll do some shameless self-promotion, the lot of us, and then we'll call it a night. You've been troopers. Lizard
Yeah.
Darling, our very first one from Shelley. How did the band come together?
Ha. Well, it all started with me and Tom meeting at a hippie festival, and we kind of looked like PY, except we didn't even have the underwear that he has on. We
Nice.
were completely butt naked. I was playing an acoustic guitar, and I was singing one of my favorite Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young songs.
Ugh.
And then this gorgeous guy walks by and sits down with his guitar.
I heard the song. It's one of my favorite songs too, and we just started jamming. I was completely naked. She was naked, and we just jammed for about 9 hours that night, super high, obviously. And that's how it started. There was a connection there immediately.
We need a very cold shower after this.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh. All right, from Louisa, any concert scheduled for this year, say Montreal at the Royal Mount Drive-In? Are we doing it again, guys?
The Royal Mount Drive-In apparently has turned into a condo project, so that no longer exists.
Not cool.
We definitely have something coming up. We can't announce it yet. It's coming.
We do?
I'm the only one who knows, apparently, but something's coming.
I think I know what you're
Probably
talking
the
about.
safest way. From former bucket list contributor Keenan Kerr.
Hi, Keenan.
We miss you, Keenan. Not
Hi,
enough
Keenan.
to work with you again, but we miss you. Did your own production approach influence the process with Bob at all, or did you have full trust in him? Was he your rock and
Nice.
Sorry,
Nice.
Wow.
was he your
So
rock
funny.
Very nice. He was definitely our rock. I mean, we came into the process after we had already demoed the shit out of these songs. We recorded them in every single which way. We already I think we took them to the highest place we could do. So when we came into those sessions, it was like, Bob, take us to the next step, So I think we completely trusted.
I think that, Dave Traynor here, shameless plug, but Dave Traynor makes some incredible records. So for a lot of bands here in the city and around the country. And I think that our demos were worthy, like they were album worthy, like we record them in professional studio, working the arrangements like crazy. Leo did a bunch of vocal takes. They were done, for what we can do. So when I went to see Bob, we were definitely open to suggestions. In the months prior to going to Vancouver, we played a bunch of gigs and we got to talk to a bunch of artists, I'm not going to name names, that have worked with them in the past. And I personally got a lot of mixed stories. For example, there was a band that you guys all know about that told me that they had the most horrible experience with the guy, and it's just, you ruined their music. And don't do it. So then I was like, well, it's done.
Oh, shit.
Scared shitless now. On the other hand, and their reasoning was that he changed too much of their music. Like they didn't want to do stuff that he suggested, but he was very, he was very strong about his opinions and et cetera, et cetera. On the other hand, I met another producer that worked with another very famous singer, and he told me that he went down to Vancouver to record with Bob, and they wanted him to give all the inputs in the world that he could give for these songs, and he was very silent throughout the whole session.
He didn't
say anything. So I was like, and that all happened like about a month before we were scheduled to record them. So I was like, what's going to happen? But at that moment, I kind of I think I told the stories to the band, and we kind of made a decision that we're just going to go with open hearts, and whatever happens, let's embrace it, and let's live through this experience, see what happens. And I think that attitude was not just it wasn't just great for us, but it was really great for Bob too, and it made him feel comfortable and made the relationship feel really good. And when you have a really good relationship with somebody, I think you get better results.
Absolutely.
Definitely. We weren't going to drive 52 hours to go argue with Bob Rock.
Yeah, that's it.
You could just do that by watching the Metallica DVD. I couldn't keep that one in. I'm very sorry. I tried desperately. No, I think if anything, if I could comment on that before we move on to this next question, I think that very specifically speaks to his adoration to you guys specifically and his enthusiasm in working with your music specifically, because you guys produce bands, when you don't give a fuck, you don't put it in. You know what I mean? You just hit the button. Are you happy with it? Because I'm out,
And you can tell you guys are so incredibly professional and so talented. He saw it. It's very obvious. So he saw something in you guys, and you deserved that treatment.
Too many what do you call those? Adjectives to incredibly this and that, but probably not. He did, however, come in every day, hang up his hat, put his phone face down, and he didn't look at his phone for like 13 hours. So he worked his ass.
Unless the Offspring called.
Not even. I didn't see him answer the phone even one time.
I did. And it was for the Offspring.
Tom had his phone and he came back and said, no, that would happen that one time.
He left. He did leave for an hour. However, I've had experiences right here in my studio with producers who come in to use the space and produce bands, and the guy's asleep on the sofa, and there are far lesser, far lesser producers than Bob Rock. So I mean, we really had an awesome time, and he was killer. There was no reason
shout out to his team
even debate. He was just all there for us.
His assistant Adam was fantastic too, and all of the other assistants, the whole team, they were just like so symbiotic. Everything just happened. There was no waiting around for anything, literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That again, to kiss your asses further, just as I'm known to do. It's something that you guys definitely brought to the room. You are, as Liz said, an incredibly professional band. You're all incredibly professional individuals, and then put you together as a band. I'm not speaking about PY specifically right now, but the rest of you do a great job coming together, being adults, and wearing clothes. Moving on to the next question. I do love you, PY. I do promise you this.
I know, very much.
Oof.
We're due for a beer.
You are in trouble once COVID's over, which it's not. Clint asked, are you scheduled in the U.S. as of yet?
That's a really sad question. Yeah. We are dying to go, but because the borders are still closed, it's just quite impossible to book anything for us right now. We have to travel by, we can't go by air because we need all our gear. And so we have to, cross those borders, and they're not open yet. So the minute those things are open, it'll be a lot easier to book a U.S. tour. Soon, Clint. We love you. We can't wait to come back to California.
We've got 2 more questions we're going to grab, and then we will call it a night. So we have Trish.
Question for everyone. What's your go-to thing to say when you want to swear but can't?
Is that ever even happen?
But
I think I sometimes say friggin'.
Yeah, that's
good. Friggin'. Yeah. Or cod, ham, cheese, and rice.
I mean, truthfully, when I know I can't swear, I just don't go there. There's like a switch in my brain that I guess it comes with mommy brain. It's just like there's another brain in me that goes, nope, that grammar doesn't exist right now.
We're at a kid's birthday party. I got to behave, kind of thing.
Exactly.
I need to learn that.
I'm not invited to kids' birthday parties. And the rest of you.
Last question.
Oh, very last question from your very own Bruce. Have you thought of releasing Deer in the Headlights on vinyl?
Dave T?
Yes, we have thought of it.
Absolutely.
We definitely will release it in the near future.
Yes.
Then
On vinyl. You know, it's awesome to have our music on vinyl. And when we produced the first vinyl that we produced as a band was a single, and it was like, I mean, we celebrated that thing like it was like, you know, the crowning achievement of our lives. And then we produced our next record, and we got that one on vinyl, and now this one is on vinyl. So it's like, to know that we have a record in the bag that's done that has not lived on vinyl I think it's a for sure. You know, it's a for sure. We'll definitely put Deer in the Headlights on vinyl soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
awesome. We made it to the end.
Woo!
I'm honestly surprised, and we're all still wearing clothes except for PY.
It's gonna be
Hot.
Once again, a huge thank you to everybody that came to watch tonight and had all the patience and brought all the great content to put up on the screen. Even bigger thank you to you guys in the Damn Truth for sticking it out with us. We are officially taking a month off. This is our season finale. The mighty lizard is moving, hence all the boxes. I don't have an excuse. I just live like a homeless person. We will be coming back in August. We do have a ton of stuff to keep you occupied with. It is just the Q&A sessions that are going to be taking a break because Liz needs a break and I don't do anything important. But our very own Justin Bruce, who is somewhere in the crowd, is going to be continuing with his show every second Monday, which is called Peaked in High School, where he looks back at MySpace era bands in all of their glory and reminds us how fucking terrible they were. So tune into that this coming Monday, and do remember that there is a vote on every second week as to what album he tortures himself with. So please follow our socials, and for our social medias, which I always fuck up, the mighty Liz Imperiale.
So you can follow us on Bucketlist Entertainment on Facebook, Bucketlist Entertainment on Instagram, Bucketlist ENT on Twitter, Bucketlist TV on YouTube, and there you have it. Oh, website, bucketlistentertainment.net as well, if you want to check us out there. And yeah.
And also do keep an eye on our socials. If you're into 90s things, there's a possibility of new content coming by the end of this little break of ours as well.
Yes.
I spoiled it for Liz because she forgot to say it.
Yes. I was going to say it, but okay.
If you never see me again, you know why. Once again, thank you very much to everybody for coming out. Stay tuned for what we got coming. Please go and listen to the new Damn Truth record. It is so fucking awesome. Watch the documentary, watch the videos, and absolutely stay tuned for whenever the hell they hit a stage because it's coming. We're so close. Get your vaccines, you fuck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us, guys.
Before we go,
any last things you want to plug before we hang up?
Get tickets for our February 22 in UK. Come out to the UK. That's all we can announce right now. Holy crap!
Can I say something?
Tom can say
yes.
I'd like to ask if there's anybody out there that lives in Canada and likes to listen to the radio. If you can pick up your phone and maybe request a Damn Truth song in your local station, that really goes a long way for us. You know, we don't take it for granted. Every spin counts, and it definitely makes a difference in our lives. So, you know, if you can spare 5 minutes and write in a request or call your best DJ, your favorite DJ, whatever, it makes a big difference for us. I would really appreciate it.
We all would. Thank you.
And for all the digitalers, if you don't follow us on Spotify yet, please go smash the follow, please.
We also have your latest single on our Spotify playlist as well, which I forgot to mention. Follow our Spotify at Bucketlist Entertainment playlist. It's all on our link tree on our Facebook, so we have all our links there. But yeah,
and that's it.
Interrupted the plug.
Check out the Freak Shop.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, the Freak Shop. Yeah, hello.
Sorry, you guys are waiting for me to plug something? Is that it?
Yes.
The Freak Shop
All
hole.
the Damn Truth everywhere, and Spotify and all that.
What Dave meant to say is that if you want to listen to our music, the best way to do it is on vinyl. We have a really beautiful pressing of our record. It's on clear vinyl with purple splatter. It's just incredible, and
Beautiful.
the music sounds better on it. So
It really does.
check it out.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. For the millionth time, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Mwah. Thank you, guys.